Hey guys, this is Mama Made. Normally you see me doing couponing hauls and grocery hauls, but today I'm going to share with you a money saving tip. I thought most people probably already knew about this, but I figure I'm just going to go ahead and make this video. A lot of you were interested in my last haul when I told you I was going to just make my own burgers, and you guys wanted to see how I did this. This saves so much money. If you buy a box of frozen burgers, they're normally at least $10 a piece, and that's normally only for 6 burgers, and it's like a little over a pound or two. So this is really cost effective. You're getting 4 burgers for every pound, and if you're only paying $3 a pound, so you'll pay $6 for 8 burgers versus, let's see, that would be about $10 for only 6 burgers. So it does save money. And if you can get the meat even cheaper, even better. So this is the process that I do when I want to have frozen burgers in my freezer for summer grilling. So I just bought this 4-pound package of ground beef at the store. You could definitely get crazy and make a ton of burgers, but right now this is just what I'm going to do. So I'm going to just take my big knife and cut this into 4 pieces. So it's 4 pounds. Now I'm only going to do 3 pounds of burgers to have 12 burgers in the freezer, and the other pound I actually need that for a recipe I'm doing this week. So I'm going to just take that 1 pound and just set it to the side. And then the rest 3 pounds, I'm going to cut each pound section into 4 pieces. So each of your burgers will be a 1/4 pound. Now keep in mind, these burgers do shrink up quite a bit. They're not as big as the frozen ones, but I feel like the taste is just so much better. The next step is to grab a large baking sheet. Now I like to cover mine with one of these copper cooking reusable washable mats. It just really helps the meat to pop right off. You can just skip that step, but I would highly recommend using either a silicone or a copper reusable baking mat. The next step is to simply start making your patties. So I will just take the 1/4 pound of beef and flatten it. I start off with a little ball and then I kind of start flattening it out. I'll use the side of my fingers to just press around because you want to have nice smooth edges. If you have jagged edges, those chunks of meat often will fall off into your grill when you're cooking them, and you don't want to be doing that, wasting your meat. So this is what I do. I just flatten them against a nice smooth cutting board. I've also used a plate before. You just want to press it down as you're doing it. Now I will make the center a little bit thinner than the edges. I don't know why. I just feel like when they shrink up, it's better this way to have them thicker on the edges and thinner. It just works out really great. So as you're making them, you want to put them on your baking sheet, not touching each other. Like I said, you definitely want to try to use a mat. You don't want to do foil. Foil will stick really bad. I would highly recommend silicone or these copper mats. Now I will have some extra that I just end up putting on a plate because I didn't have enough room on this pan. And then when I put those in the freezer, I did have a little bit of problems scooping them off because the meat stuck to my plate. But here we go. We have them all ready to go in the freezer. And this one, like I said, I did put the extra 4 on the plate, but they stuck pretty bad. So I highly recommend, I should have just put them in the fridge and then put them in the freezer after the first batch went through. You don't have to do this step, but I really like to do this. I will take small little pieces of wax paper to layer in between the burgers. It just helps them as they are just freezing again for several hours, that they don't start sticking together. It makes it easier to grab out just a few burgers instead of thawing your whole package. So this is what I like to do. I grab a huge Ziploc bag and put all my burgers in there. So these burgers have been in the freezer about 3 hours. They're not completely solid, but they're very firm enough that you can package them away for future use. So I just use my little spatula and lift all of them up off of the baking sheet. And then I just layer them with the wax paper little sheets. I usually do like a stack of 4 or 5, stick them in the bag, and then start stacking again. I always cover them with a wax paper sheet, the part that's going to go up against the plastic, just to really help that it doesn't stick to the plastic bag when I'm trying to remove a couple of them. So that's how I do it. That's how I freeze burgers for easy grilling, and it's so much cheaper than buying the boxes. So if you give this a try, go ahead and let me know how it turns out for you. We love this. There's no fillers in the meat. Now you could mix up seasonings, spices in your burgers. We don't do any of that. The only thing we do is when we get them out, we will season them with salt and pepper and a little bit of lemon pepper, and that's it. I don't do anything crazy or fancy, and they turn out amazing every time. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any further comments, go ahead and leave those in the comments down below, or maybe some tips that you found helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.